Hi, everyone. Welcome to our May Fireside chat. This is a really exciting one. I've been looking forward to this all month because I get to host you and we'll be speaking with the most wonderful Sharon Stone and her team at Hope Animal Sanctuary in Mississippi. We're going to wait a few minutes and let everyone come in. We're a few minutes early right now, and then we will get officially started in a little while. You can see Sharon here with her wonderful team, who she will introduce later. We're going to get a little tour of the place at Hope Animal Sanctuary down in Mississippi, and we will also be getting to meet some of the wonderful four-legged friends who are currently there. We're going to hear some rescue stories. It's going to be a really wonderful time, so please join with us. Stay till the end, participate. There's a little chat function. My colleagues Mary and Bob will be responding to you in the chat. You're welcome to ask any questions as we go along, and we will probably have a question and answer session at the end. So where any questions you have, just leave them there. Mary will take note of them, and then we'll answer as many as we can at the end if they've not already been answered. So there's a rundown of what we're expecting. And I've had the privilege myself of visiting Hope Animal Sanctuary, and it was probably one of the most special times maybe in my life. I'm going to say, like, the team are just so incredibly warm and wonderful, and the work that they do just really will move you to tears sometimes. It certainly has me on many occasions. And this is what they do day in, day out. And they are just really the heartbeat of In Defense of Animals. They are our first sanctuary. We now have other sanctuaries in India and South Korea, and our latest one is in California. But Hope Animal Sanctuary was our first sanctuary down in Mississippi, a place where it's absolutely needed. So let me flick some switches and we can get started shortly, and I'll give you a proper introduction. So I think we're already recording. Let me just double check on that. Okay, yes, we're recording. And I'm going to live stream us on Facebook. So if everyone wouldn't mind just being quiet for a second, I'm going to see if I can start our live stream. Okay, welcome everyone to our May Fireside chat. We are at Hope Animal Sanctuary in Mississippi. We have the most wonderful team in the whole wide world, led by Sharon Stone here. Sharon is going to give you a tour of Hope Animal Sanctuary. She's going to introduce you to our wonderful staff, also some of our four-legged friends, and tell you some of the incredible stories that happen on a daily basis at Hope Animal Sanctuary in Mississippi. In Defense of Animals' first sanctuary. We now have four, and it's a fabulous place. So without further ado, oh, of course, please leave your messages in the chat. My colleagues Mary and Bob will be answering your questions. They will be taking note of your questions, and we will answer some of those at the end if they haven't already been answered. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the one and only Sharon Stone. And please, Sharon, introduce yourself to our supporters.
So I am Sharon Stone, and the team behind me, these 5 people behind me, they are the reason that this works. They are the reason that we most years are able to place 500 dogs or sometimes even more. That's Debbie Clark. She is the operations manager here.
Hey,
Felicia Dunn. She is animal care.
hey, I'm Janie Grammer. Hey, I'm Candace Daves. Hi, I'm Rainy Daves.
So they do the hard work. They're the ones that they do the hard work, and they do it every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They're taking care of the animals here, and you'll see very shortly in the presentation, many of the animals that come in here are in not very good shape. That, and they are so skilled at taking care of them. They know what to do. I mean, they're long-term employees, by the way. The longest one, Candy's been here
12 years.
12 years. Wow. And
Shortest one's been here almost 4.
Rainy's been here almost 4 years. She's the baby.
Hi, the baby.
Jeannie,
10 years.
10 years.
10
in August. Wow. So that's what that means. What that says for them is they love their jobs. Uh, a lot of people, don't stay at jobs that long, but they like it here. They're really good at it. And because of them, this is a place where I've said this a lot of times. If you're a homeless dog and you have nowhere to go, the place you want to be is Hope Animal Sanctuary. Our ultimate goal for each and every one of the animals that come into our care is to find them a home of their own. But if we can't do that, their home is here, and this is their family. So we'll go through some of the slides and let y'all see the animals that we've rescued in the past. So the first slide, please. Next one.
And I think our Mary's on the slide.
There, that's it right there. Actually got a call at home about 8:30 one night. This family was reporting that a dog had appeared up at their house with a trap on its head. Now, when they said that, I could not picture what they were talking about. And I went to their house, and this dog had come up and gotten in their dog's doghouse. And that's what it looked like. That is a beaver trap. So what you see is on the muzzle of the dog is 2 clamps. Behind the ears are 2 clamps that had been on so long they had rusted on there. There's a way to remove a trap like that, not that I know how, but other people do. But that trap had been on so long that I can see the whole thing. You guys can't? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I actually called my veterinarian, Dr. Hill, and he was, of course, at home, and he said, uh, "Can you bring the dog to my house?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I did, and he had to take a grinder and cut that thing off of the dog. So thank goodness he had some pretty severe wounds behind, real deep wounds behind his ears where the pressure had been on there so long. But he healed up, and he did fine. He was just the sweetest dog ever and went on to a great home. Next slide. That's Cookie. Cookie was found in a town about 2 hours from us at a garbage dump. And when she was almost dead, very close to death when the girl found her. And she's an independent rescuer, and she called me late Saturday afternoon, and she she didn't know what to do. The dog was about dead. And I told her to give her some Cairo and wrap her up, put her in the car and come bring her to me. And we met halfway. And this was on a Saturday. I just took her home and got her warm. Thank goodness the car I was in had seat warmers. So we turned the seat warmers on, wrapped her up real good and got her warmed up because her body temperature was so low. And she made it through the weekend. We carried her to the vet. And he said, just keep doing what you're doing. So that's what I did. Just fed her just tiny bits during the day. And she did come out of it. She had what happened, it turned out she was a backyard breeder dog that could no longer have puppies. And so she was dumped there. And the reason we know that is because when when the veterinarian opened her up to spay her, she had um, more adhesions inside than he's ever seen. So he cleaned up the adhesions to the best of his ability. And she came around and had about 3 or 4 really good months before um, the adhesions came back. And at a point that then there was nothing we could do for Cookie. But she had a wonderful life for the time that she was with us. Next slide. What's this dog's name? This is Wheezy. Wheezy has a really interesting story. We got a call from the sheriff's department in Carroll County about a dog that they thought had been run over. And when the girls got there, immediately they realized she had been burned. Somebody had poured either hot oil or a chemical on her. So they immediately took her to the veterinarian and left her there. That night, a tornado came through and hit the house where Wheezy was, where the girls picked Wheezy up. It hit that house. It came right by the vet clinic, took the house out right next door to the vet clinic. So bless her heart, had we not taken her, the tornado likely would have gotten her. And she was at the vet's office when it came right next door. But she healed up, her back healed up, and she went up north and is living the good life today. Next slide. That's baby Charlie. Baby Charlie's mother was a 9-year-old long-haired Chihuahua who we were asked to take. And of course we said yes. And they said, oh, by the way, did we tell you that she's 9 years old? Oh no, you didn't tell me that, but okay. And then the next day they said, did we tell you that she had been run over by a car and her pelvic bone was broken and didn't heal correctly? No, you didn't tell me that. So the minute we got our hands on her, we carried her to our vet. This is baby Charlie's mother. We carried to the vet, did a X-ray, and sure enough, her pelvic bone was broken, and she could not have this puppy naturally. So the vet worked his magic, did blood work to find out what was the right time, and eventually the time came for him to take the puppy, and this was right after she was taken from her mother. And her mother would have nothing to do with her. She did not know what that was. So she she was baby Charlie was in jeopardy, but we knew what to do. We kept her stimulated until we could get her to a place we can get her on a heating pad and get her warmed up, which we did. And in just a couple of hours, she was ready for her first meal. Next slide. That's that's Carmela, the mother, and baby Charlie on the right. So today, baby Charlie is living in Provincetown, Massachusetts with her mom and both of her moms. And everybody in Provincetown knows baby Charlie. And everybody loves baby Charlie, and they go for walks and they play, and she's like a minor celebrity in that town. Next slide, please.
And just to reiterate there, Sharon, for everyone, I think you did manage to, there was Carmela and baby Charlie. I think you managed to get them, encourage Carmela to take care of
Yes,
baby Charlie in the end, right?
it took a couple of weeks, but she finally did. This, I would put baby Charlie with her just for a few minutes at a time, and she really won't have anything to do with it. But about 2 weeks later, Charlie was about 2 weeks old, and Carmela said, "Wow, that is my baby after all." And then she started feeding. Until that point, baby Charlie had to be fed every 2 hours, 24 hours a day until she was 2 weeks old when mom finally said, "Okay, I'll feed her. I'll do that."
That's
So yeah.
amazing, Sharon. Well done. And are there any, because obviously chihuahuas are so tiny, are there any like special things that you do in order to feed like a newborn baby chihuahua?
Well, you do have to feed them every hour and a half or 2 hours. And because their blood sugar can drop very low, we usually put a little Cairo in their milk to give them extra sugar. If their blood sugar drops, that's the end. Also, they have to be kept on a heating pad because they can't regulate their body heating without their mother. If they're not on a heating pad, they're in jeopardy. So you have to keep them on the heating pad, keep them warm, feed them every hour and a half or 2 hours, and again, that's 24 hours a day.
Wow.
And we use canned goat's milk mixed half and half with water, and that is easy on their bellies, and they do very well on it. As you can see, baby Charlie grew up to be a, a really pretty and friendly girl. She was fearless when she was on in that picture on the right. She was little and she was just fearless, and she still is.
Oh, bless her. Well, thank you because you all certainly saved her life.
And next slide. This dog was uh, adopted from a local shelter by a man who adopted her specifically to use her and abuse her sexually. Um, we were asked by the Carroll County Sheriff's Department to come and take some dogs. There were four of them, and this was one. And she went after we brought her here for a while, and of course we took her to the vet and had her checked out, and then we let her go back to the shelter that originally had her, with some instructions to go with her. But she is living with a woman that works with the shelter, and she's doing really well. And by the way, that the man and the woman, they were convicted, and they got a 15-year house arrest sentence. So
Congratulations, congratulations. Yeah, so that's one of the really unique and wonderful things about our work in Mississippi is that Hope Animal Sanctuary, led by Sharon Stone and Debbie Clark, they work hand in hand with Dole Stanley, who runs our Justice for Animals program, which is complements the work of Hope Animal Sanctuary by getting long sentences for the abusers and pushing for strong sentences for animal abuse.
next slide. And I cannot remember that dog,
Lane,
Debbie. Laney's Miracle. That's right. So Laney was in a crate in a backyard, and that was her life, in that crate in that backyard. And so, whether it was hot, whether it was cold, whether it was raining, whether it was snowing, didn't matter. That's where Laney was. And she was probably 2 years old when uh, had been barking, barking, barking. Imagine why. And the neighbors didn't like it. So some of the neighbors poured something down her back, whether it was chemical or whether it was hot something, we don't know. And the animal control officer got involved and took the dog and asked if we'd take it. And it so happened, and this is the miracle part, that a previous adopter had just called me a week or so before, and he had adopted a dog from us, and he was looking for one that might be similar. And this dog was remarkably like the first one he adopted. They live way away in Florida, many hours away. And so it just so happened that, and so I sent pictures. He said, "Oh yes, they really want her." And what he would do is he would fly here and rent a car. And I said, "Well, my granddaughter's coming next week, and they're going to be going to wherever they were going, and maybe she could bring the dog to you, and you could meet there. Would that help?" He said, "Oh, that would be awesome." So that's what happened. My granddaughter took the dog to Florida with him on vacation, and he met there. So there's Lainey on the left with what's her name? Misty or Misty. With Misty on the right, that was they adopted the first time. So they're Florida dogs now. She will never be in a crate again. And by the way, the hair did grow back on her back. We sent them some medicine that we used for that, and they applied it every day like they were supposed to, and Lainey's hair grew back.
Oh, bless.
And we hear from her pretty often, he sends us updates
Text
really
us about once or twice a month
Uh-huh.
with pictures.
So
She looks so happy.
I mean,
New sister.
that's what we live to do right there. You take them where they have not had a life, and now they're in a home where they're just much loved. It doesn't get any better than that. Next slide, please. Oh, these kitty cats. Felicia is our kitty cat girl. She loves cats and they love her. And we here, I mean, it is not unusual for cats and dogs to just be dumped out in the country. And that was the case with these kittens. And somebody found them and brought them and asked if we'd take them. And, who's going to say no to that? So as after they were vaccinated and we knew they were healthy and well, they went up north. And that's where they're living now. Next slide.
And Sharon, when you say about these animals who go up north, could you tell us like a little bit about
Sure.
that?
We like every group in the Southeast. I mean, every state, everybody, every rescue, every shelter in the Southeast, we have kind of been very fortunate to make friends in the Northeast with rescues and shelters up there where they didn't have puppies and they don't have kittens. So what we do, we work with Animal Rescue Front out of Massachusetts. They have their own transport van, which means our animals are not, they're on most of the time it's our animals. There might be 5 or 6 from other groups that work with us, but usually it's mostly Hope Animal Sanctuary animals going up north to, like I say, shelters and rescues that we've worked with for a long time. We bring them in, make sure they're vaccinated, fully vaccinated, that they're healthy, that they're socialized, and then they go up north. And that means if a mama and her puppies, the mama goes too.
Oh.
Adults dog get to go as well. It takes them a little bit longer, but they do get to go. So we're very lucky that we have these animals can go up north and get adopted, because here in the South, you just can't hardly, I mean, everybody that wants dogs has 3 or 4 or 5 because they get dumped in their yard. So,
Right.
so we're blessed. And these babies, the mother got run over. And these puppies were like just a couple of days old when the man called Debbie and said that he had found them. And so we took them And then you got to do what I've said I'm never going to do again: bottle feed, liar, liar, pants on fire. Because I just, I definitely will do it. Have done it. And these, again, you had to feed them every 2 or 3 hours, and 7 days a week until they were about 4 weeks of. But now they've all gone up north. They all living in homes up there. So they had a really good outcome to their story. Next slide. This little dog was dumped out here somewhere. That's she's the dachshund.
Right down the road there in the cornfield.
Mile down the road.
About a mile from here in a cornfield, just put out down there. And she was very pregnant, and she had the puppies right here. And of course, they were spoiled, rotten. And so was Mama. And they, all of them, Mama and the puppies, got homes up north. But again, it's not unusual for people to dump dogs like that here.
It's so sad to hear about that.
It's infuriating, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, that must be just really tough for you guys who are so compassionate to be, you know, in a place where there is overwhelming need for animals. And I think you have recently launched a program to help with the kind of overpopulation problem.
We actually do have a spay and neuter program for Carroll County, Mississippi, and Montgomery County, Mississippi, and Holmes County, Mississippi. Um, some of the more rural counties, although most of Mississippi is rural, and it has really gone well. The puppies are growling at us. They're talking. So I mean, it's for low income people, and it's really gone well. The vet, as a matter of fact, our vet's booked out all the way through June. So,
Oh,
that people contact us, we have an application for them to fill out, and it doesn't take us long to go through it and say yay or nay. And actually, and was really surprised and glad to see that a large number of cats have been spayed through that program. There's really not much of an outlet for cats, not like it is for puppies, you know. So I was glad to see a large number of cats are being spayed and neutered through that program. But In Defense of Animals fully funds it, and we could not be more grateful. So thank y'all. Next slide. This is another one that somebody called animal control and said, somebody needs to come get this dog. Been on my porch about 4 days. 4 days that they did not give it food, that they did not offer it water, and it was in the winter. And he weighed maybe 2 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. He was another day, and this dog would have been dead. You can see in the picture on the right, he's getting a bath, and you can see just how thin he really was. So I asked a friend of mine if she would be so kind as to foster him, because he needed the kind of care that you give dogs that are in this shape, small feedings during the day. And she said yes, she certainly would, and I knew he would never leave her house. And he is still there today, and he rules the whole house. He's the boss of the house. So Max was very fortunate. Because he was within a day or two of being dead. He really was. And so we're lucky. And you can see the lady on the left is our groomer. She works at our vet's office. And of course, the first thing we do with one like this is take them to the vet. And then we go to work doing what we do. Next slide. And that's Max. He was headed to Becky's house, where he is today.
on that famous seated heat seating warmer.
Exactly. This is Pickle. One Sunday, people started posting about a dog with a plastic jug on her head. And Felicia and, and Jeannie were both working that Sunday. And so I just called and said, hey, we got to go. And I had my grandson with me, and he was thrilled to be able to go. And we went out there searching. Jeannie brought a trap and a couple of traps, and we were going to set them. And we go out there, and a very nice man had driven all the way from Oxford because he saw this post on Facebook. And excuse me. And so we set the trap where she had been seen. And sure enough, it wasn't long she came by. Now, if you're looking at this picture, excuse me, she looks like she's big, but really she was very small, very small. And so when she ran by me, she just ran. I was thinking she's going to be up here, and she was way down there. So she ran right by me. And we were out there for several hours and just couldn't catch her. So we said, what we going to do? We're going to set the traps, set a couple of traps. And we'll come back first thing in the morning. We left. The guy called me before I even got home, and he said, I got her, I got her, I got her. And so he said, where can you meet me? I said, wherever you tell me to go, that's where I'm coming. So uh, I met him, and we were actually able to get the jug off of her head right then. A little girl and her mother are the ones that took the picture. And the little girl looked at her mother and said, wow, mama, that dog sure is in a pickle, isn't she? So that's how she got her name. And Pickle also went up north and is living in a home up there and doing great. Just a real sweet little dog. Kind of the backstory that I left out. Pickle's guardian had been shot and killed, and Pickle was just left there, wandering around that neighborhood for months, is what we were told. And nobody called and asked for help somehow. And but when she got the jug on her head, then of course people wanted help for her. So we were just thrilled to death that we were able to get her, and that she's in a great home. Next slide. That is Wilbur the piglet. And what you're looking at is the piglet's shoulder. His mother had bit him. And you can see it's a pretty serious bite. They were actually in the vet's office, and I happened to be in there that morning, and we offered our help because we didn't know, they didn't know what was going to take, and the vet told them exactly what to do. And so we stayed in touch with them, and Wilbur did very well. And Wilbur, in fact, still lives with them, with that family. And I'm glad we were able to provide a little help for them. Next slide. There's Wilbur. How cute is that? Next slide. And there's Wilbur getting his breakfast. This mama we got a call about her, and we went looking for her. Well, she was under a shed. The shed was, I don't know, maybe 6 inches off the ground, and part of it was falling in. And so when we got there, the puppies were kind of at the front, but they've never seen a human or heard a human. And so when we said something, that they went way back under the the shed. We did manage to get a couple of them the first day, and the next morning, Candy and Rainy had plenty of ingenuity, and they go out there because they know that we're 6 inches off the ground. And what they did was they took a grabber like older people use that to get stuff off of a high shelf, and it took the grabber and were able to grab the puppies out from under the shed and get them out. Once the puppies were out, Mama was ready to go. And so Mama was the people in the neighborhood said, "You're never going to catch her. She won't come close to anybody." Listen, immediately she came close to us and sat down. She wanted help. She, this dog had belonged to somebody and had been dumped. There is no question. So she, of course, is living up north and living the dream, as are her puppies. Next slide. There's some of our kitties. Felicia, do you remember those?
I remember them. I can't remember their names.
I can't either, but next slide. There's Felicia and one of her kitties.
Yeah.
Next slide. That is Tinkerbell. So we were asked by a girl over in Meridian. She's an independent rescuer. She was trying to help an elderly man with a bunch of chihuahuas. And so I agreed to take 3. Tinkerbell is one of them. We took another one that had already had 3 puppies. Tinkerbell was just on the verge of having puppies and a little male. So Tinkerbell wound up having 6 puppies, bless her heart. That's a lot for a little dog, but she did fine. She actually, the labor was 12 hours, and she was, by the time it was over, her blood sugar had dropped and she was beginning to have a little seizure. So I gave her some Cairo and she came right around, and she's super, super sweet. The puppies now are weaned and they are here at the sanctuary. And Tinkerbell will be leaving the end of June going up north. And the puppies will too, by the way. Next slide. There's Tinkerbell. You can see her belly just dragging the ground, and behind her is Phil. He's the male that we rescued. Next slide. That's Phil. he's a hoot, and he's leaving Monday next week. Next slide. This dog's girl called and said that her father was in jail and that the dog had been left at his house with puppies. And so what you see is her right by a dog bed that's outside. And it was cold that day, and more importantly, that night the temperature was going to be down below 0, which is pretty unusual here. So the girl slowed it up, went over there and got her and the puppies and brought them back. Next slide. And there they are at the sanctuary on a bunch of blankets so they can be warm. And the houses here at the sanctuary, by the way, they are climate controlled. They are heated and cooled. And so no dog ever has to be hot or cold at the sanctuary unless they want to. Next slide. That's a little video.
Mama. Hello, sweet girl.
That's Jeannie talking to the mama.
Babies. Hey, babies. What are you doing? I see you. I see you. Babies.
So they were Doberman mixes is what they were.
Good mama. That's a good mama.
Bless them. So adorable. And yeah, it's some of the stories hearing about these poor dogs who have to give birth in the most desperate conditions. thank you for taking them in when they are like desperate for help.
Jenny, what's that one's name?
Pipsqueak, or better known as Princess.
Pipsqueak is one of the litters of the Dobie Mama. And Jeannie was tending to them and recognized that Pipsqueak was not thriving at all. And so she brought him into our quarantine room, which is what you see right there, and put him on a heat pad. And then she realized before the day was over that Pipsqueak needed lots of attention. So Pipsqueak goes home with Jeannie at night, comes back with her in the day, and that went on for how long?
About 2 months.
About 2 months. And next slide. I think the next slide is right there. That's one of Jeannie's children sleeping with Pipsqueak. So you can probably now he looks really big in this picture, but he's not that big. In the next slide you can see Pipsqueak, and this, this is what Jeannie and her children did right there. That dog was just really at the point of death, and absolutely without the intervention that they did would have died. There is no question. And so guess where Pipsqueak lives today? He lives with Jeannie and her family. So we're thrilled to death about that. So she's a foster failure and we like it.
I got suckered.
Well done, Jeannie.
Next slide. Next one.
She's just on
Next one. Well, there's Rainey. She's bathing a puppy.
Yeah, fun.
Next slide. Still bathing. Every puppy that comes in, look at that sweet face. Every puppy that comes into the sanctuary on day one, when they get here, they're vaccinated and we start worming, and they all get medicated baths. Everybody gets a medicated bath because they're living under houses, they're living in dirt, in ditches, wherever they're living. It's not good. And so they all get medicated baths, and then if they have any kind of fungus, they get a medicated bath every 3 days. So bathing keeps these girls very busy. Next slide. And it's very important, by the way. Whoops. Who is that y'all got?
Can't see.
See it either. I feel like I remember that picture.
That's Carly.
Carly. So Carly's still with us. We're hoping maybe that soon she'll get to go up north. She's a really sweet girl. She's a really sweet girl. And she likes people, and so hopefully soon she'll get to go. Next slide. Who's that? That one has already gone up north. So is that one. That's a little video. Excuse me.
And this is just, although it looks like a lot of fun, this is an important part of the socialization for the dogs as well. So all of the interactions that the Hope Animal Sanctuary team have with these dogs is helping them to become a well-adjusted and happy member of a family who can, spend forever and ever and with their loved ones.
Absolutely. Next slide. And that's a really good point, because it's not just about making sure they're healthy, although we're certainly going to do that. It's making sure that they're socialized and they are not fearful of people, that they love people and love other dogs. All right, go get the pair of these. This is a kind of an interesting case where a man had a number of Great Pyrenees, and you can see that they had demodectic names. Now, he loved these dogs, but he needed help. and the dogs needed help. And so what we decided to do was, I mean, there's no need in taking dogs from someone who loves them and who was doing the best they could do, but just didn't know what to do. So we went to his property. There he is, and there I am. And we gave them a shot once a week to treat Demodex. Next slide. And that's the second week right there. So you can see from that picture, they're beginning to get better. Next slide. And that's what we got from his property. The last day we were there treating them, he said one of his dogs was pregnant. And I said, okay, when they're 4 weeks old, you call me and we'll come back. And we did come back, and here they are. Here's the girls. Can y'all see the girls' floor?
Yes, I think so. Is that
Okay, one at a time, coming past by the camera. There we go. Look at that.
hello, sweetheart.
Oh.
Oh, and how old are these pups now?
I
They
cannot.
are 5 weeks old.
Well, yeah.
Look at them.
I feel like this is the same puppy coming around again and again, but you really do
Harbor
have 4
seals.
different ones.
They're harbor seals, but land harbor seals. It's fantastic.
Can you see he's a
They are
different,
going to
little
get
different
adopted
color.
so fast.
We already have a home, have a rescue. We have rescue for them. The first thing I do immediately, and I've worked with the same groups long enough, I know which groups like what kind of puppies.
Ah,
And so I instantly knew who to call for these. And I just sent that picture that you're looking at right there. I sent that to the rescue. And of course she said, yes. Next slide.
there they are. Look at the
That-
little blip.
There's one of them right there.
Oh man, big
And
yawn.
that's some of the big ones that you'll see here shortly. This is Martin. Martin and his siblings came during the COVID when things were really slow. Not many were moving up north, and they kind of got stranded here. And then in 2003, I believe, well, the end of 2003, a family that lived in Massachusetts wanted to adopt a dog, and they reached out to us, and we suggested Martin. In 24. And we took videos of Martin riding in vehicles and this picture that you're looking at right here. And they saw all the videos and they said, that's our dog. So the first video we got back from Martin was shortly after he got there in December. Massachusetts had a very early snowstorm and lots of snow. And Martin is running in the snow, and their teenager is chasing Martin, and Martin chasing the teenager. And then the next picture we get is this Martin in his own plane looking out at that had open water. And I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Living the good life now, huh?
And the next picture was Martin and the family. They were in some tropical place. So, I mean, it just does not get better than that.
Living
Martin is,
best life.
we wish that every dog had that kind of life, but certainly every dog that comes through our care is better off than it was when it leaves us.
That's-
So what we'd kind of like to do is take you out to one of the houses
yes, please.
and
And I
let you
will
see the
say,
inside of a house.
we would love to see that, Sharon. I will say, before we go up there, we had someone special turn up today. Courtney Locke says, I just want to say hello and thank you to Sharon. A couple of years ago, she rescued several dogs from a hoarding situation in Mississippi. One of them, Sugar Baby, ended up being shipped to a shelter in Maine, where we adopted her. She is the cutest and sweetest dog I
Wow.
have ever lived with. So thank you, Courtney, for showing up today. and for rescuing, for being the forever home to Sugar Baby. I just want to show, if I can, Sugar Baby briefly. So this is an awful hoarding
Yes. Oh,
situation.
yeah. We remember that well.
Yeah.
And I just tell you that was I've seen a lot of hoarding situations.
Oh,
That was one of the worst I've ever seen. One of the very worst.
yeah, I remember this.
I mean, we found bones in there,
Oh.
Yeah.
dog bones.
And one of them turned out to be pregnant, right?
Exactly, sure did.
Oof.
We did not know it at the time, but she was. So yeah.
And that was Sugar Baby, and she gave birth at the sanctuary, right?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. No, they had never been on grass. These dogs had never been on grass. And you'll see them right there. They didn't know what grass was. They were afraid of grass. And I mean, the first day they were like, they didn't know what to do with that.
Oh.
And it took a lot of baths to get them, a lot of baths to get them
Gosh.
clean.
That water is dirty.
That
Yeah.
was Sugar Baby right there, the black and white dog, right?
Yes.
Gosh, I'm so glad to hear that. That is so wonderful.
Yes.
Courtney, I cannot thank you enough. That's amazing.
Courtney says, Sugar Baby is the best.
There she is.
And when
There she is.
when Courtney says when they first got her, she hated going outside, but now she loves it.
Yeah.
Not used to the grass. That's really good.
Yeah, they just didn't know what grass was. They had no idea. And the crazy thing was the woman had a fenced in yard. They could have gone outside, but she wouldn't let them.
Horrendous. Well, thank you for all of the lives you saved. Every single one is a very special story, and it takes a big team effort. And I would love for you to now give us a tour of the sanctuary. We are so proud of this sanctuary because it really has set a different trend and
And you see them.
accommodates these beautiful puppies. And one of the really cool things about the sanctuary is that it's built with the animals in mind and the staff in mind. So
Yes,
the environment
absolutely.
is clean. The dogs do not bark at each other because everything has been very carefully designed by Debbie and Sharon to be spaced out. So these animals are very low stress. They live in these tiny homes that have been specially designed to get them feeling like they are living in a real home, preparing them before they go on transport and actually get to a beautiful home.
Oh, look, there's two y'all didn't get to see.
Right.
And of course, we've got some kitties. This kitty has a sore mouth, but the vet says it will heal. It's just going to take a little time. Can you see?
Oh,
So, but he eats normally, is playful, loves everything, everybody. So he's going to be fine. So we're going to go out to the house now. And then you get a chance to see kind of the big picture of Hope Animal Sanctuary. And the way it's set up is kind of in a cul-de-sac. There are 20 tiny houses. And we're going out here. You hear how quiet it is?
Mm.
Doesn't sound like there are dogs in all these houses, but it doesn't sound like it because they are comfortable and they're happy.
While we're walking, if we could answer a question, there's a question here that says, what is the quarantine protocol at Hope Animal Sanctuary?
And here's the thing. Each of these houses is its own quarantine.
Oh, there you go.
Once a litter goes into this house, They don't leave there until they leave us, and no other dogs are put in there.
Hmm.
And so around the corner, we'll have a tub of Clorox where the girls step in the Clorox before they go into the yards. And
This is where the Pyrenees puppies are going on.
this is where the little puppies you just met will be staying in
Yeah, but
here. Can you see? I can't tell what you can and can't see.
Yes, we can see this is excellent. So we're seeing now this very lovely, easy to clean floor, the
Hmm.
beautiful ceiling, the air conditioning unit. There's a nice chair. It really feels like a home.
Right.
And obviously everything's all set out for the puppies. You're prepared and awaiting their
yeah,
arrival.
puppy pee pads everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. But not
Everyone-
nearly enough. Let me tell you, that's not nearly enough. There'll be more out before it's over with.
That
So, uh, and also these doors have doggy doors built in, and so they have access to outside 24/7.
all they want. Awesome.
Amazing.
And the backyards, open that door and let me. So the backyards are, as you can see, they're 45 feet wide by 150 feet long. So
Wow.
lots of room for them to run and play.
That is a quality
Oh,
backyard.
look can you see the neighbors?
We can see the neighbors. They're very beautiful.
Also, between there's no shared fencing at Hope
Yeah.
Animal Sanctuary. There's about 10 feet between, maybe 15 between each fence, and that's another quarantine thing. They can't get nose to each other. There's another neighbor talking to us.
And each one has a lovely porch and a shade tree
That's
as
right.
well.
It's
So
this
it's
design
their
is
choice
amazing.
whether they want to lay on the cool concrete or whether they want to go and lay in the grass in the shade. It's
Yeah.
just however they want to do it.
Yeah. This design is honestly really amazing, and I wish that it could be replicated by other shelters and rescues and sanctuaries. It's just so much lower stress for the animals who are residing here. Like, look at all of this. It's wow, so much
It,
better than those stressful shelters, right? Like,
there's no comparison. I mean,
mm,
if you go in any shelter anywhere in the United States,
mm,
it's a cacophony of barking and
hmm
it's deafening.
mm,
But it's not that way here
yeah.
because they're at home here.
Did you guys come up with this design? Like you and Debbie, or who's the mastermind?
Debbie and David.
Debbie and David.
Hmm.
10 out of 10.
And David is a contractor. David built this. He built it. It's an easy build. It's just big. But I mean, it was David's idea to put the beaded board ceilings in, and the wall is FRP panels. And we use that because our vet had just done a new operating theater, and that's what he put in his operating theater. You can spray Clorox on it. It won't hurt it. So everything was done with thinking about disinfecting and parvo in particular in mind.
That's fantastic. I mean, this really is a world-class sanctuary in the middle of Mississippi where it's needed most. And it's all thanks to this dedicated team and in defense of animal supporters. Without in defense of animal supporters like you who are joining us today, and people leaving us, particularly, I think there was a big bequest left in a will by an in defense of animal supporter, that this is what funds, this is the kind of legacy that you can leave, whether you're giving monthly donations, whether you're making a gift in your will. You are establishing compassion in a place that needs it most and really saving lives every day, every day.
And so you got kind of a chance today to see this. This is another dog right here. I mean, what a sweet dog that was just dumped. Both of them just dumped. And so people called us, and of course we took them. And I mean, these They are going up north. But if we had not been here, these dogs would be wandering around starving to death. So
Yeah. The alternative without Hope Animal Sanctuary is just too difficult to even think about some of the stories you come across. And we couldn't be more grateful. I know certainly I feel an incredible debt to all of you for giving your all every single day. I know you work incredibly hard. It's hearing about some of those puppies being fed every 2 hours around the clock for weeks on end. Really, you guys are just the greatest animal carers ever. And I want to, I know we've had some questions answered. Is there anyone else who would like to ask any questions? Are there, Mary, any questions that we have?
There was one thing from Doll, but there's Doll chimed in, but I just wanted to point out that you have 3 dogs in that one behind you,
right,
behind you. So those 3 must be friends, or are they litter mates?
they are not litter mates.
They're just
But
buddies.
here's the thing with dogs: they're like people.
Mm.
You don't like everybody, but there's a
Mhm.
whole bunch of people you do like. And so we'll bring a dog in and we'll put them together because adult dogs, they don't need to live alone.
Mhm.
They don't want to live alone. They want to live in groups.
Mhm.
They like each other.
They're
They
social
like
animals.
company.
Yeah.
They are social animals.
Yeah.
And so
Look at 'em.
we might have put one in here. Come on, boo boo. And maybe he didn't like somebody. So then we would take and move him to a different group. So,
Mm.
and of course, you've been in the houses, so you see these houses we would not put more than 4 adults in
Mhm.
a house. We just don't do that.
Yeah.
But we could if we if we had to, if something bad happened, we could because the houses are 24 feet long and 12 feet wide. So they're plenty big that could hold numerous beds. We use Coranda dog beds. That's what we use. Uh, that's what the dogs like, and we like them. And
Mhm.
they're indestructible. Now
That's the
we
important
have
part.
some dogs that are they're these are lifers. We call them lifers. They've been here a long, long time, and they're not going anywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, they've been here many, many years, many years. So again, this is it goes all the way back down here and then back around in a semicircle.
Amazing. I see those mops and buckets. I'm sure those are in heavy use all
They
day,
are
every
in
day.
they are
There's
in
another
heavy
really good
use.
question in here. If you have a second, I know we're near the end of our time, but someone was asking how you deal with if you have any problems with interference from the wild neighbors, maybe
We don't.
coyotes or nothing.
We really don't. I mean, I'm not going to say that we've never had a snake bite out here because we have, but we actually hadn't even had that in a couple of years. But
Mhm.
we don't have, of course, these are 6 foot tall fences with heavy gauge wire.
Mm.
So it's not like a coyote could, just jump
Waltz
over
in.
it.
Mhm.
But we've not had any issues like that. No. Mm-mm.
What was the name of the bed that you said? Someone wants to know your recommendation.
Coranda, Kuranda.
Oh boy, I can't type that fast. Yeah.
Kuranda. Coranda.
Okay, there's a K at the beginning.
They're awesome beds. They're just, I recommend the heavy duty plastic.
There you go.
You can get kind of a woven type thing. They're not as indestructible, but some of these beds are 10, 12 years old. They're just indestructible, really.
That's
And they're kind of built like a hammock,
Mm.
so that it takes the stress off their bodies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is built with a less stress in mind for the
That's right.
which is wonderful. And thank you for doing this. As Mary says, we are approaching, well, in fact, we've kind of gone over a little the end of our time. I think there's some very lovely comments from people who've been enjoying this update. It's been wonderful to see and hear about all of the rescues. Hope Animal Sanctuary is incredible, like nothing I've ever seen before. Amazing. Thank you for all you do and so incredibly well, from Samantha Murphy. Gina Lineberger says, I feel even better about my monthly donation now. Thank you so much for all the love you shower on those in your care, whether they be a short or long-term stay. Harolyn Sampson says, I commend people from the US Southeast doing community outreach. She's I mean, we are just so grateful to you guys all for your support. None of this would be possible without you. Sharon and the team are on the ground saving animals every day and every night because of people like you. So we just want to say a huge thanks um, to the whole team, the team on the ground in Mississippi and the team across the United States and around the world who are supporting this. So thank you very much, Sharon. This has been absolutely wonderful. We really appreciate your time, and please keep doing that fantastic work. And if anyone has not already set up a monthly donation, we definitely encourage you to. The address is izausa.org/advocates. You can go and set up a monthly donation there. As you can see, it will go to goes to a very good cause, and it's directly saving lives in the place where it's most needed. So thank you again for all that you do. This has been wonderful.
And I would like to say one more
please.
thing. Nothing we do here, I mean, literally nothing. And you know, what I've showed you today really is just a tiny bit of what we do. It happens all the time, almost every day. But what we do means nothing without your help. Without your help, we can't do any of this. So this is not just us saving these dogs, it's you. And we thank you. We thank you so much. And we appreciate everything you've done. And please keep supporting us, because there's so many out there that need our help. So many. I mean, you can be a part of this, and you won't be a part of anything any better than saving these animals, I promise. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.